Ugh. Wish me luck. Let's first start with this stupid secret, which leads to, guess what? A knife. If you were starting this level on a pistol start, then that'd be fair enough, because you got your extra pistol right there. You've got the knife to dodge the over-patrol nets. Not that there's really that many of them, except, yeah, I've just been proven wrong. Thanks a lot, and I'm nuts. I really should have just thrown the flame wall shot in your face, but evidently I did not have the foresight to do that. Also, if you go in here, there's a machine gun, so there's absolutely nothing wrong with starting with a pistol start in this level. Except for the fact that you kind of don't have a decent missile weapon. And the only reason that the flame wall is good here is because it gets rid of this room of enemies. Plus there's a handful of Triad enforcers a little bit later on, which this weapon is good for. But anyways, this secret level, I'm not entirely sure where I would place it in the ranks of the secret levels. It's really long, and it's kind of, I would say it's kind of tedious, but at the same time it is kind of interesting. It's just there's a whole bunch of elevators, and you're kind of hoping to God that that doesn't screw you over. Likelihood is that if you play this for long enough, it will still just screw you over anyway. But it is what it is. So I did a couple of practice runs, watched the psychedelic eyeball run of this, and I actually found this secret. Not that it matters because it's just life items and a bazooka, although the bazooka is pretty useful. Because I need to get rid of you, and then I also want to get rid of you. And then I also get another bazooka. And is this the wall? Okay, there's one of these walls that was a secret wall. Yeah, here it is. Which I think just leads to an extra life. Alright, there it is. Belching for no adequately explored reason. Not quite as tired in this one now, so I can actually start discussing certain topics. One of those being the multiplayer aspect of the game. This is a pretty long level, so I should hopefully be able to discuss the multiplayer in length. First, let me just point out this room here. If you go in here and the door shuts behind you, you can't get out. And the level becomes unwinnable. Let me hit this switch. As you can quite clearly see, I'm just going to leave the spin blades to do their dirty work there. No real reason to worry too much about that. So, yay. But yeah, you have to use the fire shooter in there to kill yourself, and you can't get out, so the level's unwinnable. This area I knew had a secret wall. I kept pushing it, but I couldn't find it. For some reason it was there. I could have sworn I pushed it before, but evidently that was not the case. You hit the switch, and oh yeah, hang on, there's a touch plate in there. You hit the touch plate, and then it lets you in to grab this dog mode, and then it also lets you grab a couple of extra lives. Not that it really matters at this point, given, you know, again, I must repeat everything that I say, but in Psychedelic Eyeballs LP, this is around about the point where I actually hit 99 lives. So any of the further lives in the game that he collected from there they were really useless. Anyways, that 3-up is very tricky to get hold of. I'm going to be showing you how to get it here, and as I'm doing that, I will start to discuss the multiplayer modes, because the thing that made Rise of the Triad interesting was its combat. For its time, having a maximum capacity of 11 players on any one game was actually kind of groundbreaking. And of course there were a whole bunch of different modes that you could play to work with this. The first of those is called Normal, which is quite literally your stock standard deathmatch. I literally cannot elaborate on this any further. And then there's this score mode, which is literally the same as deathmatch, but the scoring system is different. You actually get more points if you pull off trickier kills. Like if you crush someone, like if you stand on their head and crush them, like Super Mario Bros. Tactic thing, you get more points. You get more points for killing enemies with bullet weapons than with... You piss off. Yeah, you get more bullets. You get more points for killing with bullet weapons as opposed to missile weapons and a whole bunch of other things, which is really, really nice. By the way, this room is completely pointless. It has a couple of stacks of TNT and absolutely nothing else. At least as far as I'm aware. I don't believe that there is a hidden wall in there anywhere. Asbestos armor is actually really useful, because once we get over here, you'll find out why. Yeah, that thing. Not that it actually matters that much. I mean, you can just dodge it anyway, but it's useful so that you can just rush through it, and even if you get hit, you don't take that much damage. Not that it matters, because this switches them all off. What's in there? What is in here? Excalibur. I'll hang on to this, because there is actually an area in this level where it's useful. I might end up picking up the firebomb or something like that instead, though. Because now we've got to go back the way we came and go through the gold key door. Pick up one of these if I need it, which I evidently don't. But anyways, with that out of the way, I'm actually trying to think of a handful of the others. There was a collector mode, which was literally just you running around the place trying to get as many of the Triad symbols strewn about the area as possible. In order to win, you obviously got to collect more than anyone else. And then there was a modification of that called Scavenger, which is literally the same, but you use weapons and kill your opponents with them. And then there was literally a tag mode, which I think for the most part was just if you kill an enemy, like someone's it, and they have to go and kill an enemy and stuff like that, and then they become it. And it sounds like a regular game of tag. It is what it is. Then there's an eluder mode, which I think for the most part is like you have to go and hunt someone down and like kill them or some shit to gain points. And then there is a deluder mode, which is the same thing except you're hunting a Triad symbol that's actually moving around the place, and you got to shoot that up and whatnot. And then lastly there is Capture the Triad, which, guess what, it just is Capture the Flag. I was really tempted to throw a save before this area, but evidently that was not necessary. If I get killed now, though, I'm going to be kind of salty. But yeah, that's pretty much all it is for multiplayer. You don't get to battle in any of these regular levels, though. You might be able to if you, like, configure the files correctly, but even then it's just kind of eh. So you have custom-made maps, but well, not custom-made, but maps designed specifically for multiplayer, which is called Combat. And by combat, I mean like com as in comms and then bat, which is really stupid pun, but whatever. I was sort of innocent to the concept of puns when I was a kid and actually first discovered this game, so yay. This maze, I don't even know where the hell to begin with this maze, because it's literally just filled with a whole bunch of random power-ups. The bright side, though, is as soon as you get one of the 2 good power-ups, the only time you'll ever actually switch is if you get the other good power-up. Once you get one of the... because you won't collect either of the 2 power-downs, which is a good thing. Now in here, we want to just kind of strafe to the left, and then just keep throwing these god fireballs to get rid of all the enemies in this area. And then I probably should have... actually, wait, no, the switch is over here. I thought the switch was all the way back at the start of the room. Whatever. Lying guards, pretending to play dead, other various crap, and then in here there's a touch plate with a god mode. And then if we run all the way back here, that touch plate moves a wall over here. And there's like just this random section of wall that just moves for all of eternity, just about. Let me go ahead and throw another couple of god fireballs just to see if there are any enemies around the place. Anyways, it leads to a Mercury mode, which you can use to get through here. Obviously, it's not necessary because you can go back and get the god mode. So let's go ahead and grab that. Yay. I'm not entirely sure how far that wall goes. Don't really care that much to find out. Anyways, before we leave this room, time to show something off with these walls. They seem a bit weird, but believe it or not, this is actually a message. It's an Easter egg. What you're seeing is a pair of words written in the standard galactic alphabet as used in the Commander Keen series. I believe the alphabet has all the letters of the standard, like, regular alphabet. I think all the numbers, just in different shapes and whatnot. This message says, "Dopefish lives." It's kind of fitting because, I mean, I do intend to show off Dopefish one more time in this LP because there is one feature with it I haven't actually shown off, which, I mean, ideally I'd like to not show that off because it involves you dying, but maybe I'll just, like, get up to a point, try to show it off, and try not to waste too much time. But whatever. Anyways, getting through here, and again having to pass on a firebomb. I didn't even show up there because my hand was in the way, but whatever. Get rid of you, and then if we go in here, there is an iron key door and an elevator, which we have to wait for. Unfortunately, the God Mode's not going to last through the elevator trip, which is unfortunate. Unfortunately, which is unfortunate. Okay. Redundancy. I am he who creates most max redundancy. Oh, hang on. This area. You think this is actually lead you to something? It doesn't at all. It's entirely pointless. It's very annoying as well because you kind of just think, oh, hey, that's something interesting. No, it just isn't. Very stupid. Anyways, doesn't that remind you of Great Halls of Fire? Pretty decent level, except for the whole crashing thing. And I think I forgot to mention this in one of the earlier levels. I think it was one of the levels in this episode. I actually got through most of it in about 4 minutes, and then the game actually crashed. So there's another level in this game that will crash your game if you go through it too quickly. If I went back, I could probably tell you which one it was. I just can't remember for the life of me. You got fucked up. You got fucked up big time. That's good. I feel like there's something else I want to talk about in this segment, but I can't remember it for the life of me. Whatever. So waiting patiently with the elevator. Haven't had any elevator music so far, which is always nice. Anyways, this is the iron key. And more food. I guess that's nice. Anyways, now that we have the iron key, we can get the hell out of this level. We could go back to the start of the level, which is where the iron key doors are. There's a couple of them, actually. But if we did that, we'd be skipping a chunk of the level, so we're not going to do that at all. I stopped moving for some inadequately explored reason and just pressed the button down, which is like, nope, I'm not going to move. Okay, whatever, I'll move. Very weird. Anyways, just leads to another room like this, except over here we have a random power-up, which lets me a God Mode. This is good, because it lets me get through this last area of the level really, really quickly. Like, this God Mode will last me through the rest of the level, so I'm pretty happy about that. Anyways, this room has a whole bunch of elevators, as well as a handful of enemies, but the enemies aren't really that relevant, because God Mode. We're just gonna die, except the God Mode keeps getting caught on invisible walls and shit. God damn it. Okay, now they're dead. First of all, I want to show this one off, because it is a trap. Also, it's proof that the elevators in this game move sideways, because this one was under construction, and so they just decided to throw some enemies in it. And it actually makes for a pretty decent trap. But anyways, all these other ones, they have the elevators on the way, but as you can see, it didn't take too long for it to get here. This one, though, takes the longest time, and this is the indicator that this is the correct one. A handful of the others just open up normally, like without having to wait. So you kind of got to use that as your dead giveaway. Anyways, I just lost my God Mode, actually, which is unfortunate. So I guess I'm just going to have to collect this asbestos armor. This will be useful for me anyway, so it's fine, because we have a maze made out of... with the walls made out of elasto mode power-ups. I'm not overly fast if I collect one of these power-ups, in all honesty, because... okay, well, I just picked one up there. Because I have my asbestos armor, so it's perfectly fine. And there's only 2 enemies in this little pathway here anyway. Ah! Oh, damn it! Door closed on me, and then I just sort of kept bouncing off it, and it kind of kicked me out, which is very annoying. Okay, the elasto mode is worn off. I'm not overly fast if I lose a little bit of health here. Kill him, and we're back at the start of the level. And now we're at the end of the level. Yay. So, that is it for this level. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to work out a frickin' title for this segment, because this is going to continue the tradition of naming a segment in an LP after a level in a different game, and then once I get to that level, naming it after a level in another game, which I will probably LP in the future. But, of course, got to give you a little preview, because this is the last level of this episode. Which is both a good and a bad thing, as you will see next segment and going into next week. So see you for that.